everything could lead someone to believe how you speak, means something less. And so that means that they're going to treat you whatever. Try to treat me however you want to treat me. There's absolutely no control that you have over me whatsoever. There's nothing that anyone can take from me because there's nothing that anyone has given to me.
You're listening to Side Hustle Pro, the podcast that teaches you to build and grow your side hustle from passion project to profitable business. And I'm your host, Nicaila Matthews-Okome. So let's get started. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the show. Today in the guest chair, we have Jessica Spaulding, founder of Harlem Chocolate Factory. Now, Jessica grew up in a home where sugar was not on the menu in no shape or form. But putting her entrepreneurial skills to the test early on, she struck a deal with her mother. If she could make her own candy, then she would also be allowed to eat it. As a Food Network enthusiast, she learned to make all types of chocolate at just 10 years old, a passion that would inspire her to eventually launch Harlem Chocolate Factory. At Harlem Chocolate Factory, Jessica produces bars and brownies inspired by the rich ethnic heritage of her native Harlem community. Jessica emphasizes quality, handcrafting her products, and responsibly sourcing her chocolate. Now, outsiders discouraged Jessica from starting her own business, saying that there was no money to be made. She was determined, however, and in college decided to take a shot at starting her chocolate company. While she was not successful at first, it encouraged her to take time to learn core business skills, a step that has paid off in the long run. On today's episode, you'll learn how Jessica bounced back from business failure and created success from the ashes, the resources and competitions she participated in to buy supplies and make samples, how she connected with a mentor that helped her prepare for competitions and think through elements of her business, how she found partners that gave her the financial stability to build her dream and take her business to the next level, and how she is continuing to develop her business as a young entrepreneur working through challenges and missteps. Jessica does not sugarcoat anything in this episode, so let's jump right into the convo. So welcome to the guest chair, Jessica.
Hey, thank you for having me. This is so dope.
Yes.
This is so dope. Yeah.
This is going to be dope.
I'm excited.
And thank you for blessing the guest chair because like I said, when I came across you, I was like, any Black woman entrepreneur who has a retail location in Harlem or New York, I need to talk to her because I need to know how she's doing this. All right. So first things first, though, give us a peek into the life of Jessica. Who are you? When were you bitten by the entrepreneurship bug?
Right. I mean, I'm a real regular person. My friends they're probably sucking their teeth as they're listening to that right now. Because every time I say it, they suck their teeth. I don't know. I find myself to be very, just regular. I don't know what regular is.
Right. Because you just know yourself, right? I relate to that feeling.
No drama, positive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's all move forward. Anytime I see another Black woman, how can I help? Mm-hmm. What can I do? You know,
and when people are like, "Oh my God, look what you did," you're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I'm a regular person. I started a business. Yeah. You can too,
and I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying? Now, link me after the first billion. You know, I may be acting different then.
So tell us now, Harlem Chocolate Factory. So this is a physical store in Harlem, right?
Yes.
And how old is it?
Right? The actual shop we opened on Valentine's Day of 2018. So this year, only a few months ago. Mm-hmm. We physically sold our first products in September of 2015. But I always on my logo, the insignia says established 2014. And that's because I was on the bus coming back from a job that I was almost certain that I wasn't going to have. And I was like, nah, I'm going to start this business. I'm gonna really try to at least set up the foundation. And to me, that was the point in which it was established, even if I hadn't taken the steps yet to really formulate anything.
And isn't it interesting the journey that happens from 2014 to you opening that physical location. But before we even get into that, I want to know, had you had like smaller businesses when you were younger, or was this the first idea you ever came up with?
My mom, like most children in New York, and especially most African American children, we all got shipped down south during the summer. Mm-hmm. And I had an aunt that lived out in Atlanta, and she moved into one of them new complexes where they filled them up with pine trees. And I would take the pine trees and spray paint them and either, sell them as ornaments. And then when I came back to New York, I'd take like half of my suitcase, fill it up with the spray painted pine cone, and sell those as ornaments as well.
Get out. How did you even come up with that?
I did not know that was entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know. Like I was me and my mother are like little, like some of our past, we had multiple past times that we did together. And she's an artist. And so it's like, like she loves to create and craft and all that.
Yeah.
So we had a craft closet growing up. And so doing little crafts was like fun, and so I was just like, oh, let's spray paint these pine cones. Although we could say this right here, right now, Pier 1, I want my check. I know y'all got that idea for me.
Look at that. So where did you go from there? Did you ever major in business? Were you focused on that?
No. But that and the other side to growing up in Harlem, all of that type of stuff, that is considered hobbies. There is no such thing as entrepreneurship as it was described to me. You were either a hustler, right? So I could be out here selling all type of unscrupulous products, or because I could read, I could be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, or get myself on the city list for a city job. Doctor, I don't have the stomach for. Although I do like me a little surgery show every so now and again. Lawyer, I tried that path as well, but it was just something that didn't completely fit who I was. Teacher, the same thing. I used to teach every summer and work with children, teaching them how to read. So it's a passion of mine. And even the city job thing, tried that. But none of those things fit with me. I think because I've always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Did you have to feel like you had to put yourself in a box? And like, even though you had these thoughts and these instincts to create businesses, that you had to go a different way?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I feel like I've lived most of my life in a straitjacket. And just like, all right, my hands are tied. Like I can't, even being at businesses, like, no, this process is inefficient. It don't matter. That's our process. We're losing money. Like, I ain't even making the money. You paying me a raggedy $9.75. I'm not, the money's not even showing up in my account.
When you were working for businesses.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to work at the bookstore at Morehouse. And I would just be like, no, this process is inefficient. We could make more money if this was set up like this. Why does our magazine rack look like this? It's not merchandised correctly. Like, and here I am, I'm working maybe like, they used to give out shifts like, to say you could get like 4 or 5 hours a week for $10. Checks, $10 if that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Checks be $32, after taxes and everything. And I would just still be like, nah, like the office is inefficient, so we're not getting the correct money back on our magazines, just different stuff. Like, I mean, all the time, but that's just how my mind thinks.
So what was your initial career path?
Yeah, all of them, right? I didn't have a career path. I had never really sat down and was like, this is what you're going to be. Like, because again, I had those 4 options. I knew none of them fit with me. So I just like tried them all. Like I tried the teacher, tried the lawyer, even tried the doctor. One time my mother split her finger open and I had to sew it shut. The ER doctor allowed me to sew it shut. That was fun. I was like 8, 9 years old. I also knew I did not want to do that. Sewing up flesh just wasn't something that, tickled my fancy. And then I even got a job in the city. I started kind of veering off more on my path, working in marketing. While I was at school, I went to Spelman. While I was at school, I took graphic design. I wanted to be an art major.
Okay.
But again, my mother's like, yo, that's a hobby. My family, like, that's a hobby. And I'm like, all right.
You can't win.
I can't win. So I'll be an English major. But I am so glad, because after everything happened in my life, when the dust settled, graphic design was the only thing I made money off of. Mm-hmm. So I was so glad I took that computer class.
So you just gonna gloss over this when everything happened. So it seemed like there was some, what shaped that path for you? So you had, a series of life events. Yeah,
I graduated from school. For me, as college was explained to me in my life, you go to school, magic happens, you leave with a job. That's literally how I thought about it. Like, okay, when you go to graduate, you'll have a job. Mm-hmm. So if you're in school like myself, confused about what you're going to do, knowing you don't have many options, like there's no sanctity or safe place for me to like just graduate and just not and be okay. Like somebody gonna buy my food, somebody gonna pay my bills. All those things I didn't have that. The one thing is that we just had an apartment, a family apartment in Harlem, and that was it. So I'm like, okay, but what am I going to do? And I had never thought about like this career path and thinking about it. Like none of these things excite me, but can I do them? Yes. So I got a job, teaching, which is something I'm very passionate about. Children knowing how to read. Reading changed my life. It was a great escape for me. It's something that helped me develop as a person. All the lessons that you need to learn in life, you don't actually have to learn them. You can read about them and just adjust the things that these characters have learned into yourself, or read a nonfiction and see how people have actually lived and formed thought. So that is the basis of like who I am. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, I could do this teaching thing. I'm teaching for a year. Boom. I find out I'm going to have a son.
Wow.
Okay. Now I have a child. Real life, right? Now you're a big kid. Then right after that, so I was at home. I was like freelance doing graphic design at the time, in a semi-stable relationship, as stable as the dysfunction that.
Oh boy!
You know what I'm saying? It was like dysfunctional stability, and then we had our daughter.
Mm-hmm. So all this time, were you even thinking about chocolate? Like when did
chocolate has been a part of my life since I was a child. Mm-hmm. My mom and dad met at this health food store, and they were very much on this whole health food kick together. My dad died when I was like 2 years old, and after that, my mom became like, she was like, "Nah, this is how he wanted you raised. This is how you're going to be raised." So that means rice cake, Ezekiel bread, grape nuts instead of regular cereal.
I didn't even know about Ezekiel bread till I was like in my 20s.
Yeah. I bet you don't eat it. Bet you don't eat it every day.
Once in a while when I tell myself I'm eating clean. Yeah,
exactly. Nobody's doing that for a snack with their peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You want to know why? Because it tastes like cardboard. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it just, that's how it raised. But she loved chocolate, but high quality chocolate, because high quality chocolate it's not a sugar snack. It's the treat. And also at this time, public access has, chocolate with chocolate reds on. And when we got the bootleg box for me to have cable, I started getting Food Network, and I could watch more of like the World Pastry Cup and more chocolate shows. Jack Torres had a whole slew of chocolate shows, and it was just something that was like fun for me. growing up in the 90s in Harlem, going outside was not an option. You could get seriously hurt from just literally being outside. So I spent a lot of time indoors.
Were you making chocolate recipes or?
Yeah. I started making them. I just started making them and having fun. And it was something me and my mother did together. And we started going to like the chocolate shows and, just always being interested in chocolate and in sugar.
Interesting. So even though you were in this health food focused family, chocolate was like something you could, if it was high quality. Yeah.
If it was high quality, which is, low sugar, even with the like milk chocolate doesn't have an increase of sugar. It has an increase of milk. And the people are confused about that. Like you're supposed to taste milk when you eat milk chocolate, not sugar. With white chocolate, you're not supposed to taste sugar. You should taste the cocoa butter. These are the flavor notes that you should be tasting.
Okay.
And so it helped me develop on that side. And all of my thought process with that also was like, all right, now I'm gonna have chocolate and sugar in the house. But my mother would buy me one box of sugar to work with. If we had anything left over, she'd go to the neighbors. Hey, y'all need sugar? Here's the 16.
Man.
I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would just be sitting there when she caught me putting my little, I put a little teaspoon of sugar in them dry cereals, whatever sawdust cereals we would eat sometimes. So I just throw a little tablespoon of sugar in there. And when she caught me doing that, then it was like no sugar in the house at all. So she's like, all right, you work on your sugar thing. I used to make candy canes and little stuff. And then she would give the rest of the bag of sugar away. Like, it's just cold, man.
So when did you start to develop the idea for a business around chocolate? So
in college, right? I told you I was trying to figure out all this stuff. In college, I was like, nah, I think I could make a business out of the chocolate, because I always had some kind of side hustle, like always. I DJ'd, I hosted shows. I used to be like brand managers for different companies on campus. I wrote poetry. I wrote a book. I started like a little, I wrote the book and I self-published. So, which basically means you own your publishing. So I just created little logos around my publishing company. So I was like doing these little things on the side, but not having like any real direction with it. And so when I was in school, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna try to start a chocolate factory, like a chocolate company. And I went out, brought all this packaging, brought all of my materials. I would be in there, making chocolate. I made all this chocolate, took all these photographs. I made me a bomb MySpace page. My MySpace page was lit. My MySpace page was lit. You came to it. It played Dwelle. It was absolutely amazing, right? I did the coding in the back end to make sure that all of my colors match my logo and everything. Lit. And all I did was just go to people's events and give away free chocolate.
Now, why would you do that?
Yo, because that was advice that I got, and that was what my thought process was on. Like, I was told through various people, like the way, because the thing is that it still happens today. Like, people will call you, hey, can you bring, if you have your chocolates at my event, it'll give you mad exposure, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, okay. Can you come? We have an event for 150 people. Can you bring chocolate? It'd be a great experience for you. Boom. Can you come? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Can you give us whatever? And
what actually happens?
Crickets. Absolutely nothing. Exactly. Like literally absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Especially when you haven't done any research into whether or not these people are your customers, whether or not these people have any money, whether, like anything whatsoever. When nothing is done, nothing will happen. And that was the lesson. And I mean, I just had, my mother was like, yo, people want to taste your chocolate, then they going to just order it.
Oh, right.
And it was just like, because she believe in it. She love it. She taste it. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what happened. So it was a definitely grand opening, grand closing situation. Started at the beginning of the semester. By the end of the semester, I had absolutely nothing, spent all my money, and was like behind in everything, you know?
Well, that's still so impressive that you did that as a college student. And, that was your first foray really into business. What did you do after that?
Nothing. It was actually the start of like a mini like midlife crisis. I realize it now in reflecting on my life, like, damn, that was like my ace in the hole, like the chocolate thing. That was a skill that nobody else had that made me different, that I was actually skilled at. Like poetry, I can write, not the best. I can perform, not the best. Hosting events, I can do it, not the best. I really don't. I would rather not be around hundreds of people at once. Not, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I would rather be with the 6-7 people I know, and that's it. And even DJ, I was like I was like the world's wackest DJ. I like music, but the chocolate thing was like, yo, that's something I could do. Even with me needing to improve, it was still a skill that's absolutely different from someone else. It was my thing that set me apart, and it failed. So I was like, all right, I'm not supposed to own a business.
Isn't that so crazy how we can do that? And you have to be careful, to yourself, because it's like one little setback or one thing that didn't go and then you're ready to throw in the whole towel.
Yo, I threw the whole person away. No, seriously. I just threw myself out. I was just like,
I'm done with you.
You're washed. you're washed up. You're whack. You 19-year-old failure. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll never be anybody. You'll never be anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we are crazy.
Which is tricky in the age of like social media and everything. And being at like the forefront of that. And for myself, always having been the outspoken and intelligent Black woman in the room, the idea is that you're supposed to wake up one day and be Oprah.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely something that we all struggle with. The expectations. I talk about that in a couple episodes, but I know. So how did you push through that and start again?
I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I did not.
Well, you had to get to where you are today.
I pushed through more like sometimes for me, you gotta like fall backwards to fall through to the other side. For me, life is a full circle, right? And that pushback you feel when your back is against the wall, sometimes you can go forward to come around to the other side, or you could fall back through it. And that's honestly the best thing you can do, because that blockage between the two parts of your life, for me, you're going to hit it no matter what, right? Like, I believe you start your life at one end of a circle and you go around and then the ends meet. If there isn't like a seamless path where those, where all that aligns, you'll hit it. And no part of life is seamless. So you're either going to hit it going forward or you're going to hit it falling backwards. And I just so happen to hit mine's falling backwards. We're at the point, I have my daughter. For some reason, my dysfunctional relationship ended. I don't know what happened. But it ended. And so I'm sitting there with 2 kids like, all right, sis, this is not a game. What you really about to do with your life, right? Like this little fixing somebody's paper, doing somebody's postcard for $75, or doing this, or fixing somebody's business cards, whatever. That was cute when you only had to buy yourself some turkey meat and it was like, and you were lit. Now you have like real life responsibilities.
So I understand that you did a series of competitions and you also were able to start to learn and get real resources around business formation. And I really am interested in knowing more about this because not everyone knows about this. Yeah.
That's literally what happened. I was at the library with my kids. There's like a free little playroom at the local library next to my house. And the library, which has always been like my safe haven since I was a child, that's where all your resources is at. Everything you need is in a book or in the librarian's head. Those people have so much information. So I'm in there with them and I see this sign on the door for a business plan competition. It's like asking all these questions. Do you have an idea that you want to bring to life? You know, like one of those infomercial kind of scenes, like, you know, and it's like the business plan competition. At the end of it, you'll have spent, 40 hours with a business advisor. There was 5 prizes. So I'm like, 5? All right, even if I'm not number 1, I could get one of those, you know what I'm saying? Ranging from $1,500 all the way up to $15,000. And then it was like, and finally have a complete solid plan. I'm like, yo, me being older and like literally looking at my life again, I'm like, yo, this didn't fail because I'm just like the queen of all losers. It failed because I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm on TV, I'm watching Shark Tank and everything. I'm like, oh, wait, what? You had 3 businesses that failed? Wait, you failed too? Like, what? You didn't just say, forget it? And I was like, oh, okay. So maybe this is it. I'm like, let me just, I'm a research it, whatever. But I'm like, the first thing you got to do, you have to bring yourself a little bit of stability. And I wound up getting a job as a production assistant for this design studio.
Okay. So hello, side hustle. Hello, getting a job to support the business dream.
And I hope that, like, I hit Shorty up on Instagram, like, you need me. I have efficiencies that I know I can introduce and, design all of this, whatever. Let me send you my portfolio. I'm like, I love your work. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to help out, and I could sell water to a well. So I'm like, just meet with me. I met with her. She hired me like the same day.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I can't compete. Everybody's applying for all of these big places, whatever. It's these small businesses that need people and need effective people, need efficient people that, that it's not really a job. Like you're an entrepreneur within the business as well, but you honestly only have a guaranteed paycheck. The only person who paycheck ain't guaranteed is the owner. Everybody else got to get paid. It's like slavery was made illegal. So, these small companies, I'm like, let me target small companies that may need assistance somewhere on the back end.
Yes.
Whose cousin sucks at sending emails, or sucks at customer service. Hire me. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it for you.
And so that was holding down your family while you were working on building out and going through this business plan competition.
Exactly. So I was doing the business plan competition.
How long was it?
The competition was a total of like 6 months. It was 4 months where you had to meet with the advisors and you had to do these monthly info sessions at the library, and you had to do a certain amount of research. And then I tag teamed it because I was like, okay, wait, I'm doing this research on my own. I need something a little bit more directive. And I found these business classes that New York City offers for free, which is the New Ventures program. And it's basically a program that kind of like from start to finish in 6 weeks, you should have a solid plan for your business. So I did both of those things at the same time. And one of the homeworks from that business class was like, buy your domain. Now, while I was working at the design studio, the entrepreneur I was working for was running into some trouble, and she was thinking about shutting down the business. So I'm like, shit, I'm back at square one, in terms of the finances. But I'm like, the more I'm researching this idea of having a Harlem Chocolate Factory, a chocolate company that tells my perspective, being in Harlem, growing up in Harlem with chocolate, there's no brands out there doing nothing like that. And so I'm like, yo, as I do a little bit more research, all of this stuff everybody's calling a hobby is a part of a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't even need a whole percent. Like I could get a 0.25% and still be lit. And so like, I'm like, yo, wait, this is not a hobby. This is something that I could really fund my life with. I could really, I could change my life. And the production company shut down while I was in the midst of the business plan competition. And I got, like a few weeks later, I got a job offer from the city of New York.
Doing what?
Doing marketing for the Department of Homeless Services. I was the director of marketing over there. So I'm like, okay. So I'm still a part of the business plan competition. And I got, to the final round where I needed to buy all of the stuff for the samples and everything. And I wound up finding, at the time, I didn't have the job. So I got with this micro lender, Axion, and they loaned me $3,000 to get started. And I wound up winning the business plan competition.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this was the library's business plan competition. Yes. Was it called the New York Public Library Business Plan Competition? Okay. Yeah.
The New York Public Library's New York Startup Business Plan Competition.
Okay. How
and
gratifying.
I won for the $15,000.
Wow. So now you have this loan. The loan helped you to do what? The
loan helped me. I literally had nothing in my account. We had a homework in the business class, which was to buy the domain. And I literally had maybe $20 in my account. And the domain was something like $12.99. And I'm like, yo, how much do I believe in it? And that was the thing in the class. Yo, how much do I believe in it? And how much do I believe in myself? Okay, yeah, I messed up before, but I didn't mess up because I messed up. I messed up because I didn't know. And just really getting to a point of honestly forgiving myself for making a mistake. And then I brought it. 2 weeks later, I got an email. Somebody had gone to Harlem Chocolate Factory, had no SEO, no nothing. And they were attempting to order $200 worth of chocolate. Ooh. I wanted to kill myself because I was like, damn, I can't even take the order because it wasn't a business.
Wait, so you weren't a physical location yet? So
I wasn't anything.
So how did they try to order it?
Thank you. They just said I had a splash page. My website was a splash page with a little contact box. I built it all myself in Adobe. Again, shout out to my graphics class.
Yes.
Giles Hall, Spelman College. I was just sitting there looking at the computer like, are you dead serious? $200? $200 could have changed my life at that moment. I'm like, damn, I need, but it was just like, yo, you bet on yourself. This really does this is a sign. Keep going.
So you had to tell that person, hey, we can't fulfill this order, but it's coming.
We can't fulfill it, but it's coming. Coming. I'm doing everything I can.
So when did you win the $15,000? What year was that?
That was 2015. I won in September.
Okay. And then you immediately got to work. So tell us about some of those first steps to actually bring this to fruition.
I found an incubator kitchen because I was already getting orders, and we would do these little pop-ups in Harlem, and we would sell out of products. So I was like, damn, I need more space. I found an incubator kitchen where
What's an incubator kitchen?
An incubator kitchen is basically where you rent space within the kitchen. And they basically incubate you as you begin to grow, right? They'll offer you space. They have all the machinery. You might have to get, machinery specific to you, but you can rent space within the kitchen. So a lot of them come with different business supports. Mine came with a lot of business support. It's called Hot Bread Kitchen. It's on the east side of Harlem, literally a few blocks from my house. So I would, in the middle of the night, again, I was working for the city. So I would get off of work, get the kids, come home, do everything with them, and then put all of my stuff in in this cart that I got from Costco's and drag it through the projects to the kitchen, be in there till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, come back home, go to sleep, wake up for work, You know what I'm saying? And just whenever I had to fill an order, and I did that for like a year.
Wow. So that
grueling.
is grueling. Like side hustling takes on all different types of shapes and looks. But when you're doing something like that, that's like for real a grind.
Yo, no joke.
Hey guys, it's Nikayla here with a quick word from our sponsor. Okay. I have a side hustle hack for all to hear, and it's called Skillshare. You want to know how I grow as a businesswoman? I keep learning. There's not a week that goes by that I'm not checking out a refresher class or a deep dive tutorial, and my go-to is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform with over 18,000 classes in business, marketing, entrepreneurship, you name it. So whether you're trying to start a side hustle or scale your business, Skillshare is there to keep you learning and thriving. In the last month alone, I've learned how to set up my email capture landing page on Squarespace and how to boost my email marketing using MailChimp, all through Skillshare. And now, Skillshare has a special offer just for my listeners. Get 2 months of Skillshare for just 99 cents. That's right, just 99 cents. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/hustlepro. Again, go to Skillshare.com/hustlepro to start your 2 months now. Tell me if you've ever had this experience. You go to find an everyday nude in the beauty aisle, and everything makes your lips look dry and ashy. Thanks to Mented, that is no longer our ministry. Mented, short for pigmented, is an upscale cosmetics brand focused on everyday beauty for women of color. For a while, I'd convinced myself that nude must mean something else for me. It must mean dusty beige because that is all I ever saw in the beauty aisle. But I can now say goodbye to that lie thanks to Mented's mauve over color. It literally matches my God-given lip color. Mented's multifaceted nudes were crafted with our melanin in mind. And I love Mented so much that I have one of their lip colors in each of the 3 bags I wear the most so that I always know that I have one on deck. And Mented doesn't just make lipstick. Their glosses are perfect for women who want more sheen, and their everyday eyeshadow palette is so bomb, it sold out 4 times and had a 2,000-person wait list. Luckily, it's back in stock though. And also lucky, Side Hustle Pro listeners get 15% off of all their Mented purchases. Just head over to mentedcosmetics.com/sidehustle or use code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout. Again, that's mentedcosmetics.com/sidehustle or use code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout to enjoy 15% off your purchase. So you make the chocolate, you also have to figure out what to wrap it with, right? And how to keep it, how to preserve it. What are the best ingredients? Yeah. I'm curious how that whole process came to be. What was the trial and error of experimenting like?
The one thing that I started with was my line of bars. And for me, the wrapping I had come up with was taking my photographs that I had taken of Harlem and wrapping them around the bars.
Okay.
And that was like, that right there is what kind of like got us some more attention, because it was just like, like kind of like collectibles. But then from there, when you start to grow and expand lines, figuring stuff out, a lot of my friends that, they came to, I remember we had our first pop-up. I got these packages. I was trying to be all eco-friendly. It's just like, biodegradable packaging, whatever. My homegirl called me like, yo, all of my chocolate fell out in my bag. So I was like, all right, well, time to scrap those bags. Like there was just a flaw with it that as soon as you touched the bag, it fell apart. So, just figuring everything out little by little, figuring out how to price stuff, figuring out, what ways we were going to do it. See, the pop-up model was killing us because we had to pay to make our products, pay, because you have to rent the kitchen hourly while you're there. In most incubators, you rent hourly time, but then you more than likely also have things that you need to keep there, like stuff you can't bring back and forth, which you also pay rent for. Then you have to purchase all your ingredients and hire any staff to help you make whatever batches you're making. Then when you do a pop-up, you more than likely have to pay for the table.
Right. And is it easy to predict kind of like how much sales you'll do at pop-ups, or is that what was killing you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. We could predict which ones were best for us in terms of having like a true strategy around them, but just living your life through, all right, I'm going to do a pop-up, Sunday to Saturday. I'm just going to do pop-ups in different places with no strategy behind it. Like we would do specific ones, holiday markets, things that made sense for our brand. Mm-hmm. And just kill on those days, but we just transitioned to do solely corporate orders, corporate gifting.
So why was the pop-up model, if you were killing it on those days, was it just too unpredictable and too infrequent?
Exactly, too infrequent. You would have how the holiday season is in terms of in the pop-up market sphere. You have basically from late October, and not really, people really weren't spending money on holiday gifts till like the end of November. You have like November to December. And then after that, it was just so spastic. And for us, it was just, I wasn't willing to continue to just risk money on pop-ups when we were getting corporate orders that, we could get quadruple the amount.
And how did you start getting these corporate orders? Did you have to do anything specifically on the marketing front, or was it word of mouth and knowing the right people?
It was part word of mouth and part every organization that I worked with, right? I keep in contact with them and build like strong relationships with them. So our first largest corporate order was from Sam Adams. They brought 250 boxes and put them in their media baskets.
Wow, you said Sam Adams? Woo.
Sam Adams, which is Axion and Sam Adams kind of linked together to provide these food and beverage loans.
Okay.
Sam Adams is the funder and Axion is like the lender that, deals with it. So they're my point of contact. So being able to show like, hey, look at this business that is set up because of what, we're doing. It's like kind of like, one hand washes the other. I'm a good example of what happens when you invest in businesses and you have all the media contacts to get the word out.
Yeah.
And people who are literally looking for small craft, manufacturers.
This is so awesome. Like, I'm so excited. I'm getting more just, what's the word? Fascinated as we speak, right? Because there's just so many layers to this. Like,
it's a multi-layer.
So many
like
layers.
A rabbit hole.
Right. And the mentorship part too, right? So not only did you do these competitions, but you were able to network and meet people. What was that process like? Did you have to go out of your way? Was a lot of that independent, or was it through the program?
For me, if I'm somewhere, I'm talking to somebody. I'm always looking for people who know more than me. Mm. And the same things that they like down you for are the thing. I am not afraid to ask questions or say, I don't know, because I realized that's what made me fail before. Me saying, I know, I got it, didn't get me nowhere. And especially about things that I wasn't 100% about. So I walk into a room, they have networking events or whatever. I don't know any information about this subject. Do you know anybody here that might know something? And, people are always talking to one another and they'll be like, oh, you would be a great link for my friend. My friend knows this person. My friend knows, something. And then you get, here's a conversation you should have. Like, and I've never been afraid.
Yeah.
Like, even when we was in school. That?
Because there's so many times you go to these events and everyone's trying to everyone's trying to be.
Nah, you're going to catch me by the food bar. You're going to catch me by the food bar saying that this food is slamming. The food is slamming. That's where I'm always connecting with people by the food.
Trying to be posh. Everybody and act like they know everything about startups and entrepreneurship.
No, I don't know nothing about nothing. Let me tell you.
Let's start from ground zero.
Teach me what you know.
Exactly. I went through that experience. And that's why I like talking to people and just asking questions. What's the incubator kitchen? Because same thing. I used to try to pretend that I knew everything because I was afraid of looking dumb. Yeah. And I'm like, that didn't help me at all. Not one bit.
It's a real fear. And I mean, and And not to get, it's a societal fear, right? Like when you have never had people genuinely empowering you, any little knock, failing at that chocolate business should not have set me back that far.
Yeah.
But the fact that there has been not a genuine investment in me having the self-confidence to overcome failures. Do you know, like, how many people that look like us have an issue with saying, I don't know? You know how fragile your ego has to be, that you're afraid to ask a question? Even when we used to be in school, same thing.
We're taught, though, that, you carry that with you, that you have to represent your whole race, and you can't be the dumb Black person in the room.
Exactly. And so it makes you control how you talk. It makes you control everything, because everything could lead someone to believe how you speak, means something less. And so that means that they're going to treat you whatever. Try to treat me however you want to treat me. And everything about our conversation, there's absolutely no control that you have over me whatsoever. And empowering yourself to live that way is an absolute struggle. There's nothing that anyone can take from me, because there's nothing that anyone has given to me.
Yes. I was just reminded of that. Like, the world didn't give me this joy. The world cannot take it away.
Exactly.
I saw that quote
just today. And at the end of the day, that's really all. And honestly, that's really all you have. Money can go. Your friends could go. Your family switch up on you. Everybody just, it's a possibility, right? Not to live in some darkness about how everybody, people, that's the other thing when people, your friends don't really support you. They be sharing those memes like, your friends don't really support you. Who cares, right?
Listen, like, the thing is, though, not everyone has your vision. So not everyone is able to support you because they just don't get it. And they got their own things going on. They're excited about their own things. Like, I don't agree that everyone needs to be on your level of excitement about what you have going on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all it is.
Yeah, that's it. Don't take things personally. Now, let's talk about actually opening up the physical space, because, now you're paying staff, now you're paying bills. Was that $15,000 enough to do that, or was there?
Let me tell you how $15,000. Let me tell you how $15,000 never spent so fast.
Yes, please.
Which sounds crazy, right? When I first started, you got to think about where I was coming from. 2 kids, back and forth. I had to, at the time, like, back and forth with my landlord in court and all of this different type of stuff. Absolutely insanity. I have old tax returns that I've gone through. I'm like, for the whole year, I had $4,000.
Wow.
What? How did I make it? You know what I'm saying? So to go from that to getting a whole check for $15,000, I'm like, what? All right, hold on. Let's divvy this out. Let me speak with the financial advisor on how we best gonna set up this money. All right, here's the taxes that got to go back on that, because it's it's prize money. Boom. I need a machine. I need to do all my setup fees for all of my different business stuff. This is $400. Everything for me was like, why did everything turn into being $400? It was like 1 month where I was like, why is everything $400? Every license is $400. Everything was $400. And when you start doing that, I'm like, wow, $400 spends so quickly. And so $15,000 went down pretty fast. And then we used a portion of the money to do 2 strategic events, Fancy Foods Show and Harlem Eat Up.
Okay.
And those 2 shows what propelled us and prepared us for opening up and getting a new space, because we got, at the Fancy Food Show, we got selected as one of the top 10 bites by the New York Daily News.
Oh, nice. Now, were you getting help and support still from some of the program resources? For example, the accounting piece, the legal piece, talk to us about that support and who you leaned on.
I was in another incubator by the name of Start Small, Think Big, and they provide legal assistance and accounting assistance. And I was in their office. Hey, can you help me with this? I need help with that. Still talking to my advisors, any mentors I've met along the way. Can we speak? You know what I'm saying? Very early in this business, it was like, all right, there's a whole bunch of paths you could go with the chocolate, right? Like we opened a store.
Right, you could have kept it completely online, you know?
Could have. We needed a production space. I'm not going to be too salty about it. I did originally try to get a production space because I did not want a store yet, but God had other plans. I was going for a production space in talks with the city. I got the funding for it. I built it out. I got the pre-qualification for the money to build it out, everything. I brought my machinery, everything. 2 weeks before we were supposed to sign the lease, they pulled the plug on the thing. Yeah. I'm not going to be salty about that.
We're going to move right along because we don't dwell on things anymore. Right.
Yeah. No, but it was actually a blessing.
Right. Because did that inspire the pivot right away to opening up a physical store?
Pivot right away because I had machines that I had just ordered from Italy that was on their way. And it was like, all right, y'all might hold it for me for a month or two, but y'all want somewhere to send this to. And I'm like, where am I going to put this machinery?
Yeah. How did you find your location and pay for it?
God. I was going around Harlem, checking out all these places. They want $10,000 a month and $15,000 a month for places that I'm like, people sell crack next door. Why? I'm not giving you $10,000 a month. Like, it's just no way. Or places like you want $6,000 a month, but I probably have to spend $500,000 building this out. Like, I went into a place, the space had no walls, no floor, no plumbing, no nothing, and they wanted $7,500 a month.
Wow.
For what? And it was like, yeah, we'll give you 3 months to build it out. Okay, well, then you give me 3 months and $250 and I'll build it out and we good. We're Gucci. But you can't even, the thing about those rents that make it absolutely outrageous is that Harlem is a residential community. There's not even that type of traffic to justify that level of rent, especially for a retail space, unless you're like some kind of big box store.
That's the other part that fascinates me. And I didn't know how to articulate it, but you're so right. Like, this is not Fifth Avenue. This isn't 34th Street. So, yeah.
I'm not going to get 5,000 people are not going to walk past here daily. 5,000 people may not walk past here in 1 week. Like, that is just the reality. So what are you saying? Unless you have some kind of restaurant, whatever. Okay, this is a gift shop, not a restaurant. We're not, and then we would have to change our model to justify the rent. We would need coffee and things because the retail space has never been our play. It's been the production space for us to get our online and our wholesale business back up, because that is just literally just offline until we have the space. Then I was in front of a church, like literally just praying, like, God, whatever you're going to do, I'm here with you. Like, we've been here before. We going to be here again.
Yeah,
and
show me
literally, literally while I was there, my mom called me like, yo, come uptown right now. We go uptown. This guy was opening a Western Union and gave back the keys to the landlord. So they hadn't relisted the unit yet. And he was just like, he couldn't build it out. He ran out of money, and he just, you can put like a good clause in your lease, like where if I run out of money, don't kill me. Let me give you the keys back, allow you to re-rent it. So it's no loss. And he had that kind of clause in there. And so he gave his keys back and the space was available. And so I'm like, what? For a rate I can't disclose, but an extraordinarily
I was just
good
about
rate.
to ask.
I can't disclose it, baby girl. So sorry. But
a good rate.
Yeah.
A good rate.
Yeah, but a good rate.
And a good location.
A rate that doesn't, choke us and allows us to grow and allows us to, in a location that's honestly at the center of our brand. Harlem Chocolate Factory is a brand, not a chocolate shop. We have a chocolate shop. Harlem Chocolate Factory owns a chocolate shop, but we are not a chocolate shop. And so I'm just saying that because I have to keep telling myself that, because it's very easy to get distracted by the retail, because I want my customer experience to be, amazing and everything. So we've had to further take stuff offline in order to focus on that. So people are having a good experience and, learning how to train staff and learning how to work out the little kinks in production for the retail products. And
what was that experience like once you started to hire? And by the way, did you have to take out another small business loan to...
Yeah.
Was that through Axion again, or just...
It was Axion and then the Harlem Commonwealth Council that does the Harlem Entrepreneurial Fund.
Oh, you just have... I'm writing down all of this for the audience. This will be in the show notes because you just have all the...
Yeah. So there are a lot of like local funds. If you hit community banks and stuff like that. Again, just getting with whatever local city, all cities really have them. And if not city, then the states. There's the Small Business Association, which run like these small business like development. And that is a national program. And if you even look those up through the SBA, you can find an advisor who legally has to, will meet with you, or at least in that office, they'll have the resources. And so you go to them and all you got to do is ask questions. Yo, I'm looking for loans. Now, a lot of times they hand you papers and the information is out of date. Keep going, push through that. That's like, everybody will give you out of date stuff.
And one of the reasons to work through these legitimate organizations is there are a lot of shady business practices, scammy out there. You can't take money from anybody. Yep.
No, do not. Actually, in fact, don't take money from nobody. Try to find a way to do it without taking anything from anyone, or take the smallest amount of money. Turn $25 into 50, turn 50 into 100, turn 100 into 200. Do that. Go slow with it. If your idea needs 18 million to come to fruition without a single provable anything about it, no, you're going down the wrong path. People automatically think that, I need, if I just had 600,000, that would solve. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Because 600,000 spend different. It spends different. And if you don't know exactly what to do with it, and especially setting up something you've never done before, take $600 and set up that same idea. How can you do it? We have plans for every different amount of money.
Speaking of that, you touched on before when you went and pitched yourself as a PA that a lot of times we try to employ people we know. That's the lowest hanging fruit when we start building out our company. But
you hit that one.
Now you need to train people who are legit, professional. Yeah. How did you make that transition from, working out of an incubator kitchen?
People I know and having to let them go.
Thank you for keeping it real.
Don't be tight at me forever. You know what I'm saying? Don't be tight at me forever. I still love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I dead ass do, dead love you. But,
you have a business to run.
I got kids to feed,
That's
good
real.
luck.
So how are you approaching hiring now? Who do you turn to organizations?
No, we will be. We have, I had previously I got training, customer service training. That's something I invested in, and customer service training from the Ritz-Carlton Leadership Center. And they have some of the, like the gold standard of platinum standard of customer service training. And just really following those guidelines that I hadn't been, because I'm just the type of person, like, I want to bring everybody with me. Like, if I was a rapper, like, my entourage wouldn't really be my entourage. It would be like just my people. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put them on.
Yeah.
But even, all people realize, like, everybody can't go. And
everybody can't go.
Everybody can't go. I listened to a ton of Nipsey Hussle, and just make it. And really, literally, everyone can't go. And
you
the people that want an opportunity.
It's so funny. Unrelated, but related. When it came to our wedding, I was like, do you want to invite these family members? Because we have a huge family, extended family in Jamaica. And he was just like, everybody can't come.
Everybody can't come. Everybody can't come. Everybody can't come. And the people who want to will be there before you.
Yep. Exactly.
That's the thing. Like, anybody who wants to do it will be there before you. You don't got to ask them. You don't have to call them. Hey, can you be here? Whatever. They're like, they're there before you. What's going on this day? You don't have to ask them to be included. They're already there. Because sometimes you can have resources within your personal network of people who, whatever, but you don't want to force your dream or your vision.
Exactly.
People who are down will be there.
They'll be there.
They'll be there. They'll be there before you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. You never have to look for them.
Right. Now, we're going to get into the lightning round in a bit and wrap up. But I just wanted to know, before we jump into the lightning round, what has been your experience? So a lot of people lose money in the first few years of business. You are in the first year of your physical location, and I know it's a larger brand than that. But what's going on? Tell us the real, and how are you thinking? And how are you adjusting based on what has happened?
No, I'm trying to live my best Instagram life and lie in front like everything is okay. No, like real life. I mean, it's been a struggle. I'm a planner, right? Like that was the whole envision behind this. Is that like, I planned out the business plan, killed the first year, right? Even still working, killed the first year. Boom, did it. Planned out the next year. Okay, wait, they took the space. Got to get this space. Now I spent an entire year building it out because didn't have the funding, right? Like kind of bootstrapping it, whatever. And then now we're open without a genuine plan. And I realize my Achilles heel is no plan. Without a plan, I do not do well. Like everything needs to be planned. Everything needs to be pre-packaged for me. Like that's what I need in order to succeed, because I need to just be able to execute the plan. Planning while executing is incredibly difficult. Maybe somebody else got it figured out how to do that. I'm not one of those people. And so it's been a lot of grabbing at straws and trying to figure stuff out. And I can only hope that, people are patient. Our chocolate bars have been offline now for like almost a year and a half, if not longer, because trying to get it all together and figure it out. And so we get these dips, and we opened up we basically opened up at the end of chocolate season. We opened up on Valentine's Day, which was a great day for us, but that's, towards the end. We missed the entire holiday season. We missed Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. And so now we're coming up on those. So, we have some bright things on the horizon, but, things were just not efficient on our end in terms of just having process. Like our ordering process is inefficient. Our production process has been inefficient. And so figuring out how to make those processes be efficient has been difficult. And has it cost us money? Yes. You get to the point, it's like, damn, I thought I was never going to be broke again. And then you are broke again.
Yeah. And it's hard to reconcile when people see you and it's like such an achievement, what you've done. And you still, the struggle behind and you're trying to reconcile those two.
Yeah. Cause the $34 in my account says, you're gonna have to step it up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just, but.
So what are some of the ways you're thinking about? Do you think of?
No, we do. I mean, we are literally we're in the middle of relaunching our website. We've completely finalized the menu, and we have two things, just meeting with some folks about we realizing we have different funding needs. So sourcing a line of credit to be able to do some like interesting packaging things that will create financial efficiencies for us on the back end. And yeah, like with those two things, and then the ordering system completely changes the game. And then we do have a pretty strong marketing plan. Like right now, we told people like, yo, this is our soft launch. Right. And it really has been. And people think, oh, soft launch, you open up for a week, whatever. No, who said that? Yeah. Where in the bylaws of business ownership do I have to go by? No, I'm still soft launching. Yes, we've been open for like 10 months. I don't care.
But we have things to work out.
We have
I hear that. I agree with that.
And when people come in, all I can do is ask for your patience. I'm sorry the case is not full. It's only me right now. I'm the only person in production right now, because if I don't have a production process set up, the one thing I know, I can't bring anybody into dysfunction. Because what is that going to breed? Now I'm going to be paying to be dysfunctional. I can do that in my own time. You know what I'm saying?
I can do that by myself. I'm not about to spend more money on.
So, getting all those things out. And so we have some prospects. I'm actually going to be interviewing some people in the next 2 weeks. Some prospects. I'm praying, and got this sister. I'm praying. Everybody put the good juju out there for
I
us.
will.
I hope it works, because I would love that.
You are very upfront about, you recognize everything that needs to be done, what's working, what's not. So you're already ahead of the game in that front, in that, sense. So I just hope you keep pushing and remember what you did last time, right? And be like, no, we're not doing this again. Like having some bumps doesn't mean that I'm gonna throw the whole
listen,
throw the whole girl away.
I don't, because that to me, like, I'm so comfortable with failing now that it's not like, and you have to be, right? Because you're going to. Everything's not always going to work. And it's literally asinine to like staple your ego to needing to always win at everything. And how do you know if you've won yet? You know what I'm saying? Like you will not know whether or not you've won until the final moments of your life. And I don't even think I know that much about life to not give myself the space to be okay with messing up. And then for me also, failing at everything, right, has given me a comfort with like, what are you going to say about me? Everything has already been said about me. Single mom, overweight, hair not done. Like, what can you say about me? What can you say about me? Like, really, tell me, broke? I know I'm broke.
Congratulations.
And I don't get in the shower with my earrings on because I know I'm not confused. I'm not going to do that. That's it. I'm just going to embarrass myself. I'm not going to be in your club with these sneakers are from Amazon. That's where they're from. That's what I did. Like, there's literally that power. I take that from everyone. There's nothing you could say about me. So it's just so difficult now to genuinely like get me mad. The only thing I get mad over now is my money, which is how it should be. Like, you play with my money, that's a different level of conversation, but just talking about me, what? All the horrible things people have said about me in this process when I was in my darkest time, in my darkest hour, and you hear the things that people say to you, you have the opportunity to be compassionate and encouraging, and all because I made what you're calling is a mistake Now I'm basically trash because I'm not perfect. What? And I used to kill myself to be perfect. So you saying I don't got room to make a single mistake? When none of y'all were there to make sure that mistakes did not happen, didn't tell me how to live or didn't tell me what to do. What? Y'all had me out here as a child figuring it out, and you think you're going to sit here now with judgment and that's supposed to hurt me? And the fact that it did, I forgive myself now in this moment for even being upset about that. Now it's just hilarious. What
Isn't
are you
so
going to say?
As you think through it, it's like, yeah.
What you gonna say? What you gonna say?
Kudos to you for reaching that level of awareness, maturity, and growth.
You still could catch me on the wrong day.
We're still human. We're still human.
Because I don't want anyone to think that they could just say anything to me. Because
right. I
don't want anybody to get confused. Like, I haven't worked through all of my stuff, and God is not through with me yet, and you're liable to get slapped. Like,
God is not through with any of us, but
He's not through with me.
I get what you mean. I do. So now let's jump into the lightning round, where you basically just answer the first thing that comes to mind. All right.
All right, pray for me.
I will. Okay. Number 1, what is a resource that has helped you in your business that you can share with the Side Hustle Pro audience?
Axion, the micro lender, to me, because they have different offices everywhere. You can find one and they can connect you to various resources. They have a lot of resources, and
awesome.
And they're a great place to start your financial relationship.
Number 2, what's been the best business book or podcast episode that you've consumed this year?
Actually, Jim Cook's book. Oh, Lord, I can't remember the name of it. I just had it right here. But Jim Cook has this like autobiographical book on how he built the business of Sam Adams. And there's been so many jewels in there on things to like avoid. And he was really transparent on how to set up his business and really how to deal with his people. And that is something I'm trying to model.
Got it. All righty. Number 3, who is a Black woman entrepreneur that you would want to trade places with just for a day, and why?
Oh, Kathy Hughes. She's the CEO, owner, the founder of Urban One.
Yes.
Yeah. I think what she does is, what she founded was dope, and just to be a part of that, and how she built that from from her hands, like she built that from the bottom, and to just kind of chill in her lifestyle for a day would be lit.
Number 4, what is a personal habit that has helped you significantly in your business?
Perseverance. I'm relentless. I'm relentless, and that's a personal trait of mine. And in this business, I've found that persevering and being relentless has gotten me very far.
All right. And finally, what is your parting advice for fellow women entrepreneurs who want to be their own boss, but are worried about losing a steady paycheck?
You are already your own boss. Don't let the fact that someone signs your paycheck make you feel like you have to put up with subpar treatment, subpar pay, subpar anything. If you genuinely believe in your business, there's a way to set it up so you can transition out cleanly and neatly and with savings in the bank, and use the money that they are giving you to make it. You may have to lose sleep. Yes, you have children. That means that sleep, whatever, even if you don't, you may have to work your full day and still stay up. And there's a way to do it. But right now, in this moment, you're still your own boss. So sometimes we think because, somebody else owns it, that this is what I have to do, or my manager talks to me like I'm not a human, or they're not paying me the same thing that they're paying everybody else. Go advocate for yourself. Tell them to pay you. And if not, it's time to look for something else, or it is time to invest in yourself. And also take them to court. That is illegal. It is illegal for people to pay you less because you are a woman of color. And that's something we do not fight enough. And make sure you check. Ask for it. Go to HR and ask for parity. I want to make sure that I am being paid, because historically we are not. I want to make sure that I am being paid along the same lines as everyone else. Advocate. You're going to need to advocate for yourself as a business owner. Advocate for yourself now on someone else's dime, and exercise that muscle. When you don't have the exercise in that muscle for advocating yourself, you may not be ready to go. If you're afraid to have that conversation with your boss, you may not be ready to go. You have to flex that. You have to strengthen that, because no one has ever given that to us. Our muscle has been on how to become smaller and quieter and nimble, when in reality, we need to learn how to open up and bloom and tell people exactly how to treat us. So, yeah, you're already a boss.
Yeah. That is amazing. No one's ever really touched on that before. You're so right. If you're not doing those things yet while you're working for somebody else and practicing these things, like, it's going to be harder. And practice, flex those muscles. Yeah, like what's it like to negotiate, you know?
Yeah.
Try it out.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy because, I mean, people's, especially, I never want to romanticize entrepreneurship, right? Mm-hmm. It is a grind. It is a grind more difficult than the grind that you're facing at your job, because at your job, they have to pay you on Friday. At mine, there's no guarantee.
Right.
And so the reality is, you think that you have one boss and, I don't want nobody bossing me around. I have a million. Every one of my customers is my boss. But just like they are, you know what? I also have to learn how to control my customers. Mm-hmm. This is what you will get. This is what you will receive. This is what we can. You know, I'm gonna set your expectation. This is how you treat me. This is how you treat our staff. This is how you treat our space. You know, like, there's so many different things. So you have to literally, the struggle never changes. You're always going to be answering to someone, because we're humans. That's what it is. So if you're going towards the entrepreneurship route because you just don't want to deal with the boss that you're afraid to confront about being disrespectful towards you, or not treating you fairly, what? How do you think you're going to do with the millions of people that you now have to go out there and beg for them to buy from you or to hire you for, you know, your services? Like, you have to be prepared to do that. And so prepare yourself now. Go in there, go speak with HR. These are not silent conversations. Nobody, that's not a friendly conversation. I just want to make sure that I'm being paid fairly.
Amen.
You have the right to say that at any time. This country has a history of not paying my people fairly. I just like to make sure that you guys are. I'm sure we good, right?
Right.
I'm sure we're good. It shouldn't. Y'all got a whole HR department. They ain't gonna take no time from y'all. Give them something to do. What y'all doing all day? Making copies? Okay, let me come down here real quick. Let's just search through that real quick. Just make sure, all the people at my level, are we all being paid the same? Oh, okay, wait, I started before him. He making $20,000 more than me. Why is that? And that's illegal. EEOC, right down the block. Okay, you might need to file, sis. Get your coins. You think you're going to now have to do that with a client who's playing games when your invoices due? You know how you're going to have to call them? Excuse me, I think you're playing with my coins. I'm going to need those. It's the same thing. It's literally absolutely no different. Yeah, you run the risk of rubbing the client wrong. You run the risk of your boss firing you. You run the risk of your client not hiring you again. But what makes them think that they can hire you for something and not pay you justly? No, not at all. Not on my watch. Everywhere I go, I will be screaming from the mountaintops, because I worked for the city. When I got that job for the city, and why it was so easy for me to walk away, I got there. I was the lowest paid manager in that entire building. Wow. And they let that happen. And I had to fight them on the regular for my pay. Are y'all serious? I'm in here. Are y'all serious?
Yeah.
Why are y'all serious?
That's a whole nother episode, but you raised you raised some, we all have to fight. Like, I had, a whole nother episode, y'all. Let me know if you want to hear it.
Right. Yeah.
So
but seriously, you are already a boss. Mm-hmm. You're already a boss, and be a boss now.
Be that boss. So where can people connect with you and Harlem Chocolate Factory after this episode?
Yes, Harlem Chocolate Factory is on Instagram at Harlem Chocolate Factory. I am on Instagram as Jess of HCF. We have our website, harlemchocolatefactory.com. which is actually going to be relaunching soon. It's up right now, but it's our old site. But we also are located at 2363 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. That's between 138th and 139th and 7th Avenue in Harlem, New York.
All right. I'll be paying a visit next time I'm in New York. So can't wait. This whole episode made me hungry. All right, guys. So there you have it. Hey guys, thanks for listening to Side Hustle Pro. If you want to hear more from me, head on over to sidehustlepro.co/Side Hustle Corner to get my weekly Side Hustle Diaries chronicles about my own journey from passion project to profitable business. And if you want to find me online, I'm at Side Hustle Pro on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to join the Side Hustle Pro Facebook community. Go to sidehustlepro.co/mastermind. And as always, if you love the show, do me a favor and subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.